Shalom, Shalom. The temple of Yahawashi is Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the elect. The title of this lesson is From Solomon's Temple to Yahawashi's Spiritual Temple, the Building of the Elect. The Spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi is not dwelling in temples made with hands. Anymore is dwelling in his people, his chosen, which are the elect, who are the true temple being raised up in these last days. We want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power that always makes this possible. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect, scattered four corners of the earth, teaching his word and believing in this word in the same spirit, Lord willing, as a whole, that you continue in sound doctrine, Lord willing. And shalom to the Akwaf, the sisters of this faith and this truth, Lord willing, that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife, and that you continue to be diligent and sincere. And Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi has mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. This lesson is stemmed around Revelation's 11th chapter. We're going to deal with verse 1, which we're dealing with the temple is Israel. Let's get into it. Lord willing, you are edified. So this is Revelation's 11th chapter in verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar and them that worship therein. Now, this temple that's being measured, again, is Israel, right? The chosen, the elect on this side. Let's actually get into this lesson. The first point we're going to actually deal with first is Solomon built the physical temple. And all things lead back to Yahawashi. So this is 1 Kings chapter 6. We're going to start with verse 1. It says, And it came to pass in the 4th year, and it came to pass in the 408th year after the children of Israel were come out the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel in Mount Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Yahweh. Drop it down to verse 11. It says, And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon, saying, Concerning this house which thou art building, if thou wilt walk in my statutes and execute my judgments, and keep all my commandments to walk in them, then will I perform my word with thee, which I spake unto David thy father. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it, which, David was going to build the house, but Yahweh spoke through Nathan and told him that he couldn't, and he was going to have his son build the temple, which is Solomon. So now let's go over to 1 Kings, the 8th chapter, and let's start at verse 27. But will the Most High indeed dwell on earth? Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I have built? That I have built. Yet have thou respect unto the prayer of thy servant, into his supplication, O Yahweh, my power, to hearken unto the cry and to the prayer which thy servant prayeth before thee today, that thy eyes may be open towards this house night and day, even towards the place of which thou hast said, my name shall be there. What's his name? Yahweh, what's his son's name, Yahawashi, that thou mayest hearken unto the prayer which thy servant shall make towards this place. And hearken thou to the supplication of my servant, of thy servant, and of thy people Israel, when they shall pray towards this place. And hear thou in heaven, thy dwelling place, when thou hearest, forgive. Okay? So his presence would dwell symbolically in this temple. That's the key. But now, let's jump to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, and let's start at verse 1. It says, Now when Solomon had made an end of praying, the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offering and the sacrifices, and the glory of Yahweh filled the house. And the priests could not enter into the house of Yahweh, because the glory of Yahweh had filled Yahweh's house. And when all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down in the glory of Yahweh upon the house, they bowed themselves with their faces towards the ground upon the pavement in worship, and praised Yahweh, saying, For he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Okay? So again, the glory of Yahweh filled the house. The physical temple represents his presence among the people. Okay? So the Temple of Solomon was a shadow of something greater. It was a physical symbol of Yahweh's presence with Israel. Okay? So now let's get into the physical temple was a foreshadow of a spiritual house. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter, and let's start at let's read verse 5. See the top, a better ministry. So verse 5, it says, Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of the Most High when he was about to make the tabernacle, or see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. Okay? So let's go to the book of Acts. So the old covenant temple served as an example and shadow of heavenly things. That's what it said. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things. Okay? So Acts, the 7th chapter, starting at 47. Outside at 46, it says, Who found favor before the Most High, and desired to find a tabernacle for the Most High of Jacob? But Solomon built him a house. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi? Or what is the place of my rest? So howbeit the Most High dwell not in temples made by hands. Let's get the next precept. We want it all to line up and make sense. So St. John chapter 2, starting at verse 19. I'll start at verse 18. It says, Then answered the Jews and said unto him, What sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Yahawashi answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body. Right? They couldn't get it. So the physical stones of Solomon's temple represent spiritual stones, the believers and the elect, who would become the new dwelling place of Yahweh through Yahawashi. Okay? So Yahawashi is the chief cornerstone of the new temple. Let's prove this. Ephesians chapter 2. I don't know why I did that. Ephesians chapter 2, starting at 19. Let's start at verse 18. It says, and this can go right to the point. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints, and of the household of the Most High, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles, prophets, Yahawashi Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together, growing unto an holy temple in Yahawashi Yahawashi. And how is it being builded? When you look at the word edify, something built or built. Verse 22, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. Okay? So the household of the Most High is built upon the foundation of the apostles, the prophets. Yahawashi himself is the chief cornerstone. Let's get 1 Peter's chapter 2, starting at 5. I'll start at verse 4. It says, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious. Ye also are lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahawashi Mashiach. Wherefore also it is contained in the scriptures, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be ashamed. But, verse 5 really went to the point. What Yahawashi is building, through the believers and the elect is a spiritual house. Okay? Now let's just get another one on this point. Psalms 118. Verse 22, it says, the stone which the builders refused is become the headstone of the corner. This is Yahweh's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes, right? Because the Lord is declaring the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46:10, and it's the Lord's pleasure. Okay? So, Yahawashi laid the foundation of the spiritual temple, the church, right? Which is an assembly of Israelites made of men of faith and sound doctrine. These men are the elect, being built together into one spiritual body, into one spiritual house, like 1 Peter's chapter 2 and verse 5. So let's go into the elect are the temple today. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, starting at verse 9. I start at verse 8. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry, and ye are the Most High's building. Here we go. And according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundations can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahawashi Mashiach. Luke the 6th chapter, verse 46 to 49. You have to lay yourself on that solid foundation, that rock, which is Yahawashi. Now, if any man built upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is, right? That trial, okay, which comes with the tribulation in this walk, right? And if any man's work abide which he have built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, in that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? St. John 15. If you abide in me, which speaking about Yahawashi, I abide in you. If any man defile the temple of the Most High, which of course, just like Yahawashi, we are the temple of the Most High. But when you say as a collective, when we think about the believers, the chosen, we are the temple of Yahawashi Shai. So we don't want to defile this temple, this ministry, right? He shall. Well, let me start that verse. Let me start it over. And if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, set apart, Hebrew, Kodash, which temple ye are. Okay? We are the temple of the Most High. Let's get 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, and get verse 16. I'll start at verse 15. It says, "In what concord have Hamashiach with Belial, or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? In what agreement have the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. As the Most High have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people." The same as Yahawashi, right? Yahweh dwelled in Yahawashi, and he walked with Yahawashi, okay? And Yahweh is our power. Let's go to Revelations, the 3rd chapter, and the 12th verse. It says, "Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of the Most High, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is in New Jerusalem," right? Refreshed, right? Revelation, the 21st chapter, "which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name," right? And the pillars synonymous back to Solomon. So just as Solomon used gold, cedar, and stones to build the temple, Yahawashi is using chosen souls, the elect men, teaching and living the 100% truth to build his everlasting spiritual temple. We are in the end game, okay? So the ministry of 100% truth builds the temple. And of course, you have to believe it's 100% truth out here. Let me just get this. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 20. It says, "But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things," right? Through Yahawashi, we get the Rakak Kodash. "And I have written unto you, because ye know the truth, but because ye know it, in that no lie is of the truth." Okay? Can't no lie be of the truth. It has to be sound doctrine and 100% truth. But how is this truth coming out? Let's get Ephesians. Oh, messed up again. Ephesians, the 4th chapter, starting at verse 11. It says, "And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers, for the perfecting of the saints," right? Perfecting us in his doctrine, right? Perfecting us in his will, in the spirit, "for the works of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach." Edifying goes into something built or built. Verse 13, "till we all come in the unity of the faith," unity, agreement, like-minded, one accord, "and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach. So when it says that we are the Lord's building, it's going back into us. We're something built, because in order for us to be this temple, we have to be edified, right? Be built. I just got to get it. I got to get this word for edify.
Strong's G 3619. Oikadame. Oikadame.
Akadame. So the Strong's definition: a structure, building, edification, biblical usage, the act of building or building up. Okay, a metaphor to edifying edification. So this is a metaphor to edifying or edification, the act of building or something, or building up. And then you can go to this other one at the bottom, of building, the thing built, right? And then Yahweh say we are his building, okay? So now let's go to St. John, the 17th chapter, starting at 17. I'll start at 16. It says, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth, and thy word is truth. And this is a pure form of us being cleansed. Sanctified, we're being cleansed through the truth. And the truth is the word. Ephesians 5:26. We're being washed by the word. This is how we truly get cleansed, not dipped in the water. That dipped in the water is really a foreshadow of being cleansed by the word. And it goes all the way from what happened from Genesis to 2 Maccabees, Genesis to Revelations. Now verse 18, as thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. First, this is speaking about the disciples, you apostles, prophets, evangelists, you pastors, you teachers, right? Which we read in Ephesians 4:11 and 13 to edify the sheep, right, on what's going on, right? Basically the 144,000. Yahawashi sent them on the earth to edify the sheep, okay? And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth, right? So the elect, right, starting with the teachers on down to the believers, were sanctified through the truth, and the truth is the word. This is why you have to be a student. You have to learn the doctrine, right? From the prophecies, the parables, the dark sayings, from the law, okay? Verse 20, neither pray I for these alone, speaking about the disciples. He didn't only pray for the disciples, you apostles, you prophets, you evangelists, you teachers, you pastors, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. And what word is they teaching? Thus saith the Lord, from Genesis to Maccabees, 2 Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation, the sound doctrine, okay? Verse 21, that they all may be one, right? The 144,000 with the 1/3, right? The elect, okay? As thou, Father, art in me and I in thee. And we already read the verse, right? Right? That the Father dwell in us, right? And he walk in us, okay? It's just like Yahawashi. We're in agreement. We're one in his will, okay? Father, art in me and I in thee, that they also may be one in us, right? So St. John 15, if we abide in Yahawashi, he abides in us. And if Yahawashi abide in us, Yahweh abides in Yahawashi, right? And the whole domino effect. And if we abide in Yahawashi, we're going to have the Rakak Wadash because we believe in him. All in one. Yahweh, Yahawashi, the Rakak Wadash, okay? And that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And it's all about Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi getting glorified through this ministry, through the elect. This ministry of sound doctrine is the building work. Okay? So, hey, you brothers, even you sisters, you children, each lesson, each precept in the act of faith adds to the temple of Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. And only the elect is teaching the 100% truth, not false doctrine, not mixed philosophies, right, are a part of this construction. Because the temple in the time of Solomon was getting built. It was construction. We're building it brick by brick. Each lesson, each precept, each breakdown, right? Each act of faith adds on to the temple. So now, let's get into the glory returns to the spirit, right? Let's get into the glory returns to the spiritual temple. This is Haggai. Lord willing, this is making sense, you know. And this is another reason why we want to be thankful that Revelation 11:11, that he have given us the breath of life, because we're fully seeing the temple being built today. Haggai chapter 2 verse 9, the glory of this later house shall be greater than of the former, saith Yahweh of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, saith Yahweh of hosts. Okay? Man, so this house shall be greater than the former. Right? You see, when we had the tabernacle, then we had the temple. They got destroyed. Now the Lord is building a temple that nobody can break down, which when you go read Ezra, the priest, read chapter 4, verse 1-4. The nations tried to disrupt us in the time of Nehemiah and Ezra when they were trying to rebuild the temple. And what do you think they trying to do to us? The GMO foods, the TV, freaking porn, right? You damn bad bitches. So like you independent women, right? We get distracted by all this extra stuff, food stamps, government shutdown, right? The jobs, getting laid off, getting another job. It's just multiple things. They're trying to distract the temple from being built, but they can't stop it, right? Because the words of Yahawashi will not go back unto him void. Revelations 21 verse 22. I saw that 21. It says in the 12 gates, we're speaking about that actual kingdom. The 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass, see-through. And I saw no temple therein, for Yahweh Shem Al-Shai, power almighty, right, in the Lamb, right, are the temple of it. So the Lord Yahweh, power almighty, in the Lamb are the temple of it. In the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof, right? Because really the kingdom is going to be illuminated, especially with the glorified bodies, right? We're going to be illuminated, okay? So the final temple is the kingdom of Yahawashi and the elect. And they will shine with greater glory than Solomon's, which it will be eternal and spiritual, filled with the presence of Yahweh forever. Because of, again, 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, we're going to have that heavenly tabernacle, which is speaking about this body, right? 1 Corinthians 15, right? This corruptible is going to put on incorruption, right? We're going to have immortality. Okay, so Solomon's temple was a physical representation of Yahweh's dwelling among Israel. Yahawashi came to establish a spiritual temple, his body, the church, made up of the elect men teaching and living in truth in righteousness. We are the living stones, and Yahawashi is the chief cornerstone. The ministry of sound doctrine is the building process of that spiritual temple, preparing it for Yahweh's return. That's why it's very important that the truth is being taught. Anybody teaching anything wrong outside, it's a distraction. And guess what? The men of the Lord have to clean it, because many are going to be deceived. But I want to get this word for church real quick before we close, because we keep bringing it up. Let's go to this verse. This is Matthew 16:18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, because Peter is the reflection of the apostles, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So let's look at this word.
Strong's G 1577. Ecclesia. Ecclesia.
Ecclesia. We really want to deal with the biblical usage, which is multiple meanings, right? The main point is number 2, but I'll start at the top. It says a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place in assembly. Now, you don't see, nations coming out to go see the prophets. Well, what nation said, "Oh, the prophets is on the corner," or in any religion outside the Hebrew Israelites? What religion got prophets on the corner, right? Up doing a public assembly. He said that like Paul said, the apostles were set up last, and they were supposed to be a spectacle, a public show. Okay, this teaching is public. An assembly of people conveyed at a public place of the council for the purpose of deliberating. Now, this is the point. The assembly of Israelites. This is what the church is. The assembly of Israelites. And what is he doing? He is sifting out he's sifting out the non-elect. Okay? Because the elect is going to naturally cleave. It's like a fish. You keep throwing the what you call it, the trap, right? Which is the hook, and then the bait. There we go. You putting the hook in the water, right? And you got the bait just dangling, and the fish is going to either nugget, and then that hook, that sharp hook, catches them. Now we see Hebrews 4:12 is a two-edged sword. It's sharp. Okay. It's a very sharp blade, okay? And especially if you're touching the tip or the size of the blade, and that person moves a hand, you will be cut, okay? And it's the same. You can be punctured, because that's the same with a fish hook. And what is the disciples, what did he say? I will make you fishers of men. So we came out here to fish the men of the Lord. We came out here to fish the other men believers. We came out here to fish the women and the children, which are the Israelites. Okay? So I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakak Kodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit and in sound doctrine. Lord willing that y'all all continue, those that are scattered four corners of the earth, in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwaf, the sisters of his faith and his truth. Continue to pursue your lot and continue to be diligent and sincere. And Lord willing, Yahweh Shai has mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in faith. And if you don't agree with the lesson, you got to ask yourself, in the ancient world, because if you're saying he's trying to build a temple, a spiritual one, it all stems back to Solomon building a physical. And that temple was for the Israelites. And who was doing the service of the Most High? The priests. No other nation was doing the service of the Most High in the most holiest place. Nobody. Being cleansed, walking with the chauffeur, it all stems from what happened in the old. It's a foreshadowing. When you go to St. John 5:39, read it in the KJV and then read it in NLT, where Yahawashi said, you think the scriptures give you eternal life? No, they testify of me. In the NLT, you think the scriptures give you eternal life? No, they point you to me. So the scriptures from the law, Psalms to the prophets, they all point us to Yahawashi. Even when we go into the New Testament, it points us to Yahawashi. Shalom, shalom, Abba Ball.